I'm a third generation pork producer, so my family has been doing this for quite a while. We have been doing pigs for about 60 years, so it was pretty much my whole life. So a lot of my memories were dealing with little baby pigs, and now it's very different. When I figured out kind of what I wanted to do with my life, I ended up teaching middle school math for 10 years. But I also kind of always had this desire to come back to the farm. But I didn't want to just come to the farm and just be here. I wanted to bring something else to it. When I look out at the operation that my wife and I have added to this farm, I think one of the things that gives me the most pride is knowing that this is something that we built with our hands. We've built every structure on this farm that you can see. We built a 10,000 head site that's behind me, and we've gone from that to 30 in the last couple years. The animals that we have on the farm, I think my favorite are by far the goats. The goats are, I feel like, more of a passion for me. It's something that I've started kind of on our own. So most of the farm is things that either I inherited the ability to do or had just kind of fallen in my lap. With the goats, that's the one thing that I sought out. And it's something we're kind of learning as we're going. So I think that's my favorite just because it's a challenge. One of the hardest parts about coming back to the farm was leaving behind what I did previously. As a teacher, I really enjoyed my job. I had a passion for teaching, I had a passion for working with kids and just kind of making the world better through that. So I do make TikToks and Facebook videos on the farm, in the barns, to kind of show, you know, we do care for these pigs. We treat them like they're, you know, like they're pets in a lot of ways, because for us, we want a healthy product, and that's kind of what we push. And I think it's important that we show that too. One of my favorite things is during Dr. Seuss Week, we'll do Read Across America. We'll read a story in the barn with the pigs around us to local preschools. And I go into schools and I'll talk about what I do on the farm, talk about the life cycles of the pigs. There's a handful of schools that I've worked with in the barn where I've actually done like video FaceTimes with. So I kind of get that role of teaching by doing that in the community. When I first decided that this is kind of the route that I wanted to take, and I wanted to not just move into my parents' farm, but kind of create something of my own too, I realized really quickly that funding was going to be a large challenge. I went through a lot of different lending institutions, but the one that I kept coming back to was with Farm Credit, because they were the most willing to work with me to make what I wanted happen. They understand. They understand that the situations that farmers deal with are unique. It's not a typical business, and being a young farmer, it was difficult to make an investment of this size. And with the Growing Forward program, that's what made this so appealing and so easy to do. The program is designed to make it so that we can succeed and get off on the right foot. But there's also so much guidance, and there's so many tools that we're given from them because they want us to be as successful as we can be too. I think one of the biggest things that I learned through Farm Credit was really a focus on money management. Money management for the future, how to budget for specific things. Farm Credit has really kind of helped establish that type of responsibility with me. Agriculture has something to do with everything that we do every day, whether it's the clothes that you're wearing, the food that you eat. It has to come from somewhere, and most of those products, whether they're the raw products or the raw materials or it's the finished product like you're eating at your table, that all comes from a farmer. I feel like it's important that as a farmer, I'm doing my part in feeding the world around me, but I also feel like I go a little bit beyond that in letting people know what we do. I want the world to know that we care for these animals the way we do. I want them to know that it's not just a dollar, it's a lifestyle.